Hey everyone, Krista Hannon here, and I'm going to do a little video to show you how I like to do some money pieces on a wig and what type of alkali products I like to use for that. So a lot of people have asked me how do I work with wigs, what type of products do I have to pre-tone, anything. So we're going to kind of get into that, and I'll let you know about my favorite products. I will let you know what I do to pre-tone, how I do to finish it, what I use to keep up the color, not only in the wigs but also in my clients as well. So today I'm kind of doing a blonde wig. It was a 20-inch wig, but I did cut it because some of the wigs, when you get them, they're really straggly at the bottom. So you have to kind of shape them up and make sure that you are working with a good haircut, pretty much. So today I'm going to do kind of like a Heat Miser Jack Frost money piece since Christmas time is coming. So I kind of want to show you what I do, how I'm going to apply it, over direction, what that means. So we're going to kind of hop right into it. I already did one side, just because I didn't want to take the whole video and just, me painting. I want to actually show you one side because I am going to do a negative space on that one. So with this side, I am doing a red to orange to yellow. And I'm using my color map to kind of use as a pre-canvas to see what my pigments are going to come out. I also use Fireball and Absinthe for the red. I use Straight Nuclear for the orange because I really want this side to pop, okay? And then I use Satire and Lemon for the yellow. This way, I'll be able to kind of control everything. So I pinned everything back because I did over direct this to the other side, and I'll show you the reason why. The way that I prepped my wig today is I didn't wash it because she didn't have a lot of chemical smells. She didn't have anything that I felt like that was on her hair that would allow the pigment not to adhere to it. So I'm just gonna go straight in. I actually prepped her just with unicorn milk and foreplay. Wigs sometimes have a coarser texture, so it kind of just softens that for me, and all like the flyaways from the packaging will allow me to have control of that whole section. So I just kind of blew dry it a little bit. I trimmed her up, and now I'm gonna show you how to start this side, okay? So with my colors, I am using 𝒘𝒊𝒕𝒉 today, and I am using my Fermar bowls because they allow me to actually connect them together. So with my palette, it's gonna be like this. So everything's right here for me. So I do use unicorn milk with my applications, either on my wigs or on my clients as well, because it does not hinder the color at all to be saturated into the hair. So with wigs, sometimes it's hard to control. It all depends on how the wefts are placed in the wigs. This is a front lace wig. I kind of just got this one off Amazon because I just wanted to play with some techniques and see, like what I really wanted to do. It's a good way for you to find out different techniques and different color palettes. Sometimes you want to experiment. So I got this one just off Amazon just to kind of play with. And it is a front lace wig. And these wefts right here go directly straight across. So I'm not going to do them over directed yet because I'm going to do them in a separate panel. So when you're working with a wig, you have to really pay attention to your control because there's because they're hand done or machine done, there's a lot of pieces that end up being hand plucked in the front so that with the front lace it looks more believable, but it also kind of frays out and it doesn't allow you a good color application if you're doing anything precise. So control with wigs is crucial. So I'm just going to work in very small sections. sections that you can see through. They are very tiny. And I am going to turn her this way. Now you can do this sectioning technique, this over direction, on your clients as well. You know, they will have a foil, a mesh, a 𝒘𝒊𝒕𝒉 clear film sheet in front of their face, but it's completely worth it. It's okay. When you're over directing, so the way that I'm over directing this and the reason why is because you can absolutely take this whole perimeter section and melt the colors that you would like. For me, when working with wigs, I don't have the mobility of somebody's head to actually free flow and allow me to move them. So I'm just gonna stabilize her, but I am over directing so that I know I have complete control of how everything is going to blend. So if you take this over direction, when you paint your actual lines and you start melting down, what's going to happen is you're going to take that section and say you painted like a straight line. When you move it down, it automatically blends. So it's kind of like that foolproof blending for your money pieces. And you want to just make sure that they blend really well, because it is the forefront of your face and that's the most impact that you're going to see. So you want to make sure that it blends very well. Now what I am using is I am using foil for this, just because I am using the Fermar embossed foil roll, but it allows me to give me the length that I want. Because if I'm only using a 𒘘𝒊𝒕𝒉 film, I might have to tape two together or put a little color and stick them on each other to make it longer, so that I know that I have a straight full foil on that whole section. Now to prep this section, I do spray it with my unicorn milk. And the reason why is because all of those little tiny baby hairs that are plucked into the front lace wig, I don't want them going anywhere, because I don't want any of those stragglers that are on my brush and messing up my melt, or, you know, dragging down a darker color into my lighter color, because I am doing a negative space on this. So I do want a clean slate where that negative space is going to be. I am going to take a little bit smaller on this just so that I can get this started. So I am going to hold my foil right there. I'm going to have that tension so that I'm able to paint where I want to. So with this, I am going to start with the dark blue. You can get right up to the front lace wig, right on the lace, because we can clean it up with a little bit of toothbrush and the unicorn lightener. And you can get that pigment right off. So don't worry about making a little bit of a mess. If you get it on the front lace, we can absolutely fix that. So I'm going to take my dark blue, about right there. I want to be able to get a couple more colors in here and then end it with the darker blue as well. So with the darker formula, I am using Tragic and Nightfall. With the lighter blue formula, I am using Tragic powder with some clear. Now, when it comes to negative spaces, I use Mercury and Lilac, but I also want to make sure that my hair is not too yellow, so it depends on the ratio of Lilac to Mercury. So I want a nice negative space in here. I want to make sure to put enough product so that when I lay the piece over on top of it, it will adhere and it won't move, so it'll stick to it. Now, you can use gloves for this. I normally don't. My hands are usually stained whatever color I'm doing that day. As most of you already know, when we go get our nails done, they ask what shade it is, and you're like, oh, that's a level 4. So I want to make sure that I'm blending so that it has a nice, clean blend when it is laying down. So again, all these little pieces, I don't want that to hinder at all the way it's going to go. So I do spray it with unicorn milk. Bring it right back down, right on top of it. And some of you have probably seen this technique in prisms as well. And you can use unicorn milk in prisms too. So even if they are melted, or if you get that very, very sharp line, you want to be able to make sure that all those little baby pieces do lay down. So I'm going to go back in my color. I am going to start from the bottom this time because I really want to secure that, because that negative space, I don't want anything ruining that. So I'm going to go into the bottom and then I'm going to go into the top. So I'm going to try to do it this way to see if you can see it a little bit better. I am putting enough product on there, again, so it secures everything. But when I put that other layer back on there, it sticks. And again, with the negative space, it's going to go right in the middle. And with this type of over direction, you can actually place it anywhere you want on the head. So you can lift up your whole halo section, take that middle section of your client, your wig, your mannequin, whatever you're going to do your color on, and you can actually pull all of that forward, over direct, and it'll lay directionally, kind of like that V. You can take any technique out there, any possible color technique, any color palette, and you can do any type of over direction and it'll give you a completely different look. So if you're going to go all straight down, if you did this in a prism or with anything, any color, negative space, anything that you were doing, it'll lay like that. But if you over direct it, it'll melt by itself. Again, I'm going to take very small sections. Make sure you can see through them. These little pieces right here, I'm just going to spray. and lay them right down. And just make sure you can see it. But I'm going to lay that right down so that I don't get any stragglers. And one of the main reasons why I started using unicorn milk too, I know a lot of people see me talk about it, is because it is a CBD reconstructor. Now, if anybody has ever had chemically damaged hair, if you have color treated hair, if you have coarse hair, fine hair, thin hair, thick hair, anybody can use it. It is very, very versatile for all your clients without weighing the hair down. It also has grapeseed oil to help stop the production of DHT, which is in hair loss. It has aloe. It has scalp therapy. It also has argan oil. So it has all these wonderful oils in it so that you can reconstruct your hair. It actually penetrates the cuticle and makes it healthy from the inside out. And I use it in all my Vivid color services. Pretty much every single client that I do have walks out with it. But the reason why I do use it in my Vivid services so much is because it doesn't block the pigment to go in. So when I'm trying to control all this hair, especially in wigs, mannequins, it doesn't inhibit that. You can also use it in beards. You can use it on eczema patches. You can use it on psoriasis patches. My son, my 6-year-old son, uses it. He absolutely loves it. Every single morning, he comes in and gets ready for school, and he says he has to spray his unicorn milk to tame his hair. So now that you kind of get the idea of why I'm doing this and how I'm doing it, what I'm going to do is kind of talk about why I chose those products to pre-tone, to prep, and then you'll know why I'm using the things that I'm using. So to pre-tone, you can use 𝒌𝒆. Now, when you're using 𝒌𝒆, it's a purple shampoo, and it is very conditioning. So it doesn't dry out my blondes, it doesn't dry out my extensions, it doesn't dry out my wigs. There's a lot of other toning shampoos that I have used that it feels very dry after I use it. So with 𝒌𝒆, it does not dry anything out, and it does have enough pigment in there so that it's not over toning. So when you're actually toning and pre-toning, I dilute it in like the shampoo bowl with the water, and I either put the wig in there and swish it around so that it doesn't have the pigment in one concentrated section. Because if that happens, what you'll see happen is you'll get those lavender pieces or those really concentrated like purple silver pieces, and then it doesn't look even. So when you dilute it and you dip your wigs, dip your extensions, anything like that, you get a nice even tone and you don't have any of those splotchiness. Now when I'm using 𝒌𝒆 for my blonde clients, they absolutely, 1, love the smell of it, 2, love the conditioning of it, but a lot of them do not like that lilac kind of look, that lilac lavender kind of look. So it is good to actually send something home like that for your clients, because they're not going to call you a couple days later and tell you they've turned their hair purple. Because I've had that happen. I usually just tell them to wash their hair, second wash, use Bay, let it sit on for maybe 2 minutes, and then rinse it out. Nobody has ever had a problem with it. That also has grapeseed oil in it too, which is absolutely fantastic. So when I prepped, I also used Foreplay. Now, Foreplay is a leave-in detangler, but it also protects against UV, UVA, UVB. So for vivid clients, that Foreplay is essential, because you know, if any of you have gone to the beach with vivid hair, immediately it was faded, it was almost gone out of your hair. So when your daily vivid clients, you know, wash their hair, dry their hair, it is awesome for them to take home to use at their at-home maintenance, so that it protects against that as well. It helps extend the color a lot longer. And if you send them home with Extend shampoo and conditioner, that'll also give your vivid client the longevity of their vivid. And now I'm just kind of blending. Again, taking super small sections, ones that you can see through, controlling that hair behind there. Using unicorn milk to spray down all those little guys. Placing it right over, make sure it stays. That way you'll get a nice clean application, because the money pieces are the impact pieces in any color. If that's what you're going for, you want to have complete control, especially if you are doing a wig. And then also back to the Extend shampoo and conditioner. So that shampoo and conditioner is absolutely amazing. So it's an anti-fade. It has sunflower extract in it, and it also has lavender, it has aloe. It smells fantastic. So it's a little bit thicker of a conditioner, but it doesn't feel like that on your hair. It really moisturizes, and it really takes my vivid clients way past when they would actually come for a service for their retouch, because half of them come back in and they still have a lot of color. And that's one way to kind of ensure your color services with your clients. So again, I'm just going in and melting. And then taking small sections. Making sure that I get all those little guys down. I've even used unicorn milk on my makeup brushes, because if I'm kind of in a rush and I have to use alcohol, which I know you're not really supposed to, but if I do, and it dries out my makeup brushes, I want to make sure that I condition them so that it gives me the longevity of my brush. So I actually have used unicorn milk to spray on my brushes to condition them back up. And I always tell everybody that asks me about unicorn milk, kind of my story of why I actually found unicorn milk and Alkali Beauty. And that was a couple years ago. I bought a house that had well water. And with well water, it is very, very harsh on your hair. So if you don't have the proper pH, if you have sediment, if you have any mineral deposits, your hair is totally going to take it's going to take it very hard. And I had white blonde hair at the time, and what had happened is it started falling out, it started breaking, and I didn't understand why. So when I had to cut my hair short, I was devastated because I had very long hair, probably down to the middle of my back, and it was white blonde, and I wasn't able to have it anymore. I didn't know what was going on. I had to research everything from well water to what I'm eating to my stress level to anything. Lack of vitamins, lack of, proper diet. And the only thing that attributed to all the breakage was the well water. So I tested it, and it was very, very hard water, and you can still see like all the sediment in the filter. So when I found out everything, I started researching what shampoos, conditioners, leave-ins, masks. I wasn't coloring my hair or anything. And I was having a class at my studio, Infinite Alchemy Hair Studio, with 𝒔𝒊𝒕𝒉, and she told me that she was coming out with a product to watch out with Alkali Beauty. So as soon as I saw it, I was completely drawn to it. Completely. And I immediately ordered it as soon as I could. So when I ordered it, I found that as soon as it came, it was like that golden ticket in a box. It was a beautiful box. It was nice little packaging. And I was immediately like, oh my gosh, this is the thing that's going to help me. From reading about all of the benefits, all of the ingredients and everything, I knew that this product was going to be my lifesaver. Honestly, and it was. Because like I said, I had to cut my hair very short. It was probably up to my ears. And from having long, thick, white hair, it was devastating to me. So immediately I opened the box and I opened the packaging, and it was like I just sprayed it all over my dry hair. And you can use this on dry hair as well, which that is an amazing, amazing thing, because it does not make your hair feel greasy. It does not make your hair feel weighed down. It is very light. It completely gets into your hair, and it feels like nothing's in it. It just feels soft. It feels frizz-free. And I immediately was blown away. So when I kept using it, I would use it on wet hair, I would use it on dry hair. Then it was time for me to order it for my studio. So when I ordered it for my studio, there was a lot of my clients that had breakage as well from either previous color services, or they had well water too. Now, I live in a small town that we do have a lot of well water around, a lot of mountains. So I know so many people had well water, and that's why it was starting to break for them too. So as I was starting to sell this product and, have my clients take it home, especially my vivid clients, because it does extend the longevity of their color, then I started getting much reaction from all of them saying how amazing that their hair felt, how it wasn't breaking every time they brushed it. So I was sold. I'm completely sold. It is my favorite product. I would absolutely bathe in it, drink it, inject it, everything. It is absolutely amazing. And I can't thank Alkali and 𝒉𝒂𝒕 for coming together and making such a beneficial product for all of us. Because if we didn't have unicorn milk, I don't know what I would have done. So thank you. I would preach to everybody about this product because it is that amazing. So if you haven't tried it, please order it and try it for yourself. Try it in your color services. Try it in even your natural gray-haired clients that have the coarseness, that have the thick curly hair. It controls the frizz. It gives the shine. It, just there's so much properties for this one product that everybody will absolutely love it. So I am just continuing to take smaller sections. Still doing that control. And you can pull that tension too. Make sure you don't have those stragglers, because when you have wefts in the wig, when they're going a different direction than what you're pulling it in, you are going to get those pieces that are popping out. So you want to actually just give it that tension and bring it across itself. And then I do start from the bottom just so that I can get that good tension, that it can sit there and it's not going to move when I do my negative space. Because when I do negative spaces, I want to make sure that I am doing the negative space perfectly where the last layer had left off. Because once you have it down, it is going to veil and melt completely. You're going to have that nice white spot. You can do this in any type of placement that you want. Play with it. You can do dark, negative, dark. You can do 5 different colors. You can put negative spaces in between your rainbows. It is really, really an eye catcher when you're using negative spaces and contrast. I've been trying to put negative spaces in almost every color that I can because I absolutely love the look of it. It draws my attention directly to that color. It gives it that pop right in between 2 darker colors. It gives it a cool feel to it when you're melting everything and you have a white spot. It's beautiful. I just want to make sure that everything is blended and melted together. Some people wear gloves, most of the time I don't. Now this is my last section on the top of the head, because after that the wefts go directly horizontal. So when it's at the top in a wig, it's usually hand punched or machine punched, but it looks like individual hair strands on top so that it looks more believable and realistic when people put it on. So I'm just going to take that last section still controlling and over directing, making sure I place it and secure it. And I did put a color track piece of the control film right under because I was getting a spot where the foil didn't meet where the weft comes. So I put it right here just so that I don't get it all over her face. It's a mannequin, but if you're doing this on a client, you want to make sure that you don't get a mess on their forehead or their cheeks. I'm going in there and kind of using the tip of my brush so that I can make sure that everything, the lace, the weft is all colored so that you don't have a hollow spot when you have it down. So you can move side to side. Just make sure that you're saturating everything. Because with wigs, with mannequins, it is a little bit more difficult because of how there's obstructions here. It's not a full, you know, perfectly shaped head that it would flow with your pieces. I also put my hand behind it for secure too, so that I can really push in there and make sure every pieces are coated. You can go in with your finger, smush that around, make sure everything is blended, make sure everything is coated so that you don't have any missing spots. Make sure your negative space nice and even. Blend that together. And now what I can do is kind of put another piece of foil over it, or I can use a color track film, I can use a piece of mesh, anything that you would like to use or are comfortable using to put over that. Now on the side here, what I am going to do is I'm going to remove this color track piece, and I'm going to take another piece as long as the hair I think is going to be. I'm going to fold it so I can have the secure. So when I do this, I also want to make sure that I'm doing control. So I do take my 2-prong clips, and I will just hold and secure that piece of foil so that I know it's not going to slip while I'm trying to apply these sides. Because when you're doing a wig on the sides, if it does have the wefts horizontally, it is a little bit harder and trickier because they're not a hairline. So you have those kind of obstacles, and it's not it's a mannequin or a wig. They don't have those perfect hairlines that you want. So I'm just going to take this, I'm going to split it, and you can see how thin those pieces are because of the wefts that are right there. So I'm going to take this, I am also going to secure this to the weft or to the wig in between the weft so that I know that piece is not going to move. And if it does, you just control it. So I'm going to take this and pull. You can also spray your unicorn milk. So I'm going to make sure that this hair doesn't fall into where I'm painting. Once you have this painted on there, it's it secures itself. So I'm going to go in and paint the front of the lace, the weft, to make sure that I don't have any hollow spots. And what I am going to do is I'm going to just kind of peek at the other one, because I just want to make sure that I'm lining up my blues and my negative space to get an idea of where it's at. Make sure that's secure. Now that that's secure, I will go in and just make sure everything is nice and blended. And then I'm going to continue taking nice small sections. Even if the wefts don't line up, I'm going to remember to keep taking my smaller sections so that I have that control over it. Make sure that's placed. And I always secure with my hand underneath so the foil doesn't slip. You have to go back and forth a little bit just to make sure that you are saturating the other side, or anything in between that is not laying perfectly flat for you. Now, if I do have a spot that is on the wig that is in the perimeter that does not fit where the foil is, you can go ahead and take another piece of foil or a film, mesh, anything that, a piece of paper, anything that you're using to make your section secure, I'm going to go right ahead and put it under there, just so that I know I can paint and I'm not going to have a mess under there. And you can also secure it with a little bit of color, and then it sticks directly to the foil or the mesh so it doesn't fall. And I don't know if any of you are familiar, Alkali Beauty has given all of the artists in the inner circle of the mob a platform for free education for you. So please subscribe to their YouTube channel, because there's a lot of amazing artists that are giving product knowledge on Alkali. They are sharing with you their pro tips. They are showing you color techniques, cutting techniques, what they use the products each for. And it's a really great tool to use to expand your education, because this industry is forever changing. And we want to keep up with product knowledge. We want to keep up with newer techniques, simpler ways to achieve what we want in our clients or hair. So there's a lot of amazing artists right now that are working on some videos, some pro tips for you. So make sure you turn those notifications on and make sure you watch each one of them. Also, they're looking for unicorn milk ambassadors too, which is absolutely amazing, because it is not just artists, not just professionals. So I'm just going to make sure that this is saturated and blended. I only have about one more section here. And I'm just making sure that I'm saturating that lace piece all around, because if you pull the hair anyway, you don't want any of that lace sticking out and not being colored. So I am just kind of finishing up here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait about 25 to 30 minutes, and I'm going to let that sit, and then I will rinse it with extremely cold water So none of these pigments run together. That is the most amazing thing in a color line, that they do not bleed together. So it allows the artist to do whatever they want, come up with whatever technique they want, and they don't have to worry about any of those colors blending together, bleeding together, ruining those hand-painted pieces, anything. So you have the freedom to create with it. And I go in, if I see any spots that look like they're not blended, I go in and just add a little bit more product and blend it out. And again, you can use this placement or over direction in any way you choose. And then you get that foolproof blend when it comes down. So now I will let it sit and wait, and I will post pictures after this video. I really appreciate everybody joining in today. And again, I'm Krista Hannon, Krista Hannon Hair on Instagram. I am Alkali Beauty's Alchemist of the Year, and I'm part of the Alkamob as well. If any of you use this technique, placement over direction, feel free to tag me and let me know if you have any pro tips, if you used it in any other way, and I'd like to see what you all create. Have a great day.